Hi guys and girls, this is the Incompetent Woodworker. Today I'm going to show you how I make these awesome desk nameplates. So let's get to work. Okay, to make those nameplates, I use an MDF Core Plywood. And I get a lot of offcuts of this plywood because I buy this in a sheet that is approximately 24 by 12. And I use this to make birthday boards that I sell in my Etsy shop. My birthday boards are only 16 inches long by 5 inches wide. I end up with these offcuts. So I wondered, what am I going to do with all these offcuts? So I decided I was going to make those nameplates with it. Really easy and fun to make, and I'm going to show you how to make them. So I want to talk a little bit more about this plywood that we use. I hope you can see it really well. The grain pattern is really nice on it. Both sides have a nice veneer on it. This is called blue pine. If you're not familiar with blue pine, it is made from logs that have fallen on the forest floor in Colorado. And as it sits in the weather and ages and gets weathered, it gets this really pretty blue streaks in it. Okay, to make the nameplates, I did some research on what the nameplates, what the dimensions are on the nameplates, and I decided that 10 inches by 2 3/8 is what I was going to use to make the nameplates. So here we go. So we'll start, set our table saw at 10 inches, and now we'll cut this down to 10 inches, eliminating that joint in the veneer right there. Helps if I plug in the saw. Alright, now that we've got this cut down to 10 inches in length, we're going to rip this down to 2 3/8. So we'll set the fence 2 3/8. And we've got enough to make another cut. Out of that one piece of scrap, I've now got 3 pieces that I can make nameplates from. So let's show you how I make the nameplates. We're going to move into my studio where I have a laser engraver, and that's how I make them. Now, if you don't have a laser engraver, because many of you aren't going to, I'm going to talk about some other ways that you can make these nameplates. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking, and we're not ready to move out of the shop yet, because we need a way for these to stand on your desk. And the simplest way that I've found to do it, this is kind of a really cool method that I like. I use a dowel rod. I drill a small hole right here in the center, about halfway through, and we cut this dowel rod down to about 2 1/4 inches, and then we glue it in. So while we're in the shop, let's cut the dowel rod and drill the hole. I've got my dowel rod marked right here at 2 inches. This is how long I want it, and I like to cut these at the bandsaw. So now these dowel rods are 1/4 inch dowel rods, so we're going to get a 1/4 inch bit, and we're going to drill in the center. Oh, maybe, I think 3/8, maybe 1/2 inch up, and we're just going to go about halfway through. Okay, I've made a little mark here, 5 inches over, so that it's in the center of the length, and about 1/2 inch up from the bottom. And here at not table saw, but drill press, I like to just bring that down and make a little divot while it's not running. This will help keep the drill bit from wandering. This will help keep the drill bit from wandering when I start it up. I don't know if you can see that real well on camera. That's about halfway through. Okay, for the real fun part, let's move into my studio, and we're going to fire up the laser, and I will show you the laser engraving this. It looks really nice when the laser does it. And again, we'll discuss some other ways of doing this if you don't have a laser. So I told you that what we're going to do is engrave this in my laser engraver. Right there. Oh, there. Right there is my laser engraver. Now, of course, I know not everyone has a laser engraver, and maybe you've got access to one. Some communities have maker spaces and other places where you can get access to a laser engraver. So if you have that and you want to do that, then by all means join a maker space. But there's other options for getting the graphics on your nameplate. If you cannot engrave it with a laser engraver, would be to possibly use a router with a template on there. You could also buy a stencil and paint it on there. If you're like my wife, she's got a Cricut. In fact, she loves the Cricut so much she's got 2 of them. So you could cut it out of vinyl and stick vinyl on here. One of the cool things about a Cricut is you can find a graphic to go with it, some sort of picture, and or you could just hand paint on it if you wanted to. And then another option could be to use pyrography or wood burning. So just because you don't have a laser doesn't mean you can't do this project. It's a real easy project, and all of these that I've made for other people, they really like them. So I've got my artwork loaded in my computer. I made this with CorelDRAW. I kind of want this to be fun, so I chose kind of a, I guess a fun looking font, and then since I'm a carpenter, I chose the saw, and that's what we're going to engrave on the nameplate. So let's get the wood loaded up. Into the laser engraver, and we'll get started. So I've got my workpiece loaded here in the engraver. We're just going to focus the laser. And I've already sent the artwork over, so let's go ahead and start engraving. Alright, that turned out pretty good. As you can see, I ran the engraver for a second pass, and that was just because I wanted to make everything a little bit darker and give it a little bit more depth. But this engraved nice and dark, and so I really like that kind of burnt look, kind of a pyrography look to it. So I'm going to leave it just like this. Okay, now just to finish this project up, I'm going to take my dowel rod and I'm going to glue it into the hole with a little bit of super glue. Real easy deal, but before I do that, I kind of like to clean my dowel rods up with a little bit of sandpaper. And you don't want to do too much or it's not going to fit nice in that hole. But I do like to kind of sand them, kind of smooth them out. A little bit of 220 grit sandpaper or 150, whatever I've got here. And then we'll glue that in the hole. And it just takes a little bit of super glue, drop or two in that hole. Press your dowel rod in. Make sure it's nice and straight. And hold it in place for a few seconds until that glue starts to set up. And you're done. Alright, I showed you how on this nameplate I just put that dowel rod in there, and that acts as a stand as you sit it on a desk. That just kind of sits right there like that. But I wanted to talk about a couple other ways that you could do this as well, just as some alternatives. If you maybe were hanging it on the wall, wouldn't be anything wrong with drilling some small holes in here so that you could screw it to the wall with some screws and plastic anchors. Another way you could do it, say you're going to hang this on the side of your desk or something that's metal, just take a Forstner bit and drill in just a little bit and glue in some rare earth magnets right in there. That would be kind of a cool way. Another way to hang it to the wall, just a small picture frame hanger, and it could hang on there. You don't have to do the dowel rod if you don't want to.